We're in the Music City and the Gaylord Center for the 2004 Vise U.S. Gymnastics Championships, one of the final steps to earn a trip to Athens and the Summer Olympics in about 2 months. It's the first of 2 days of competition, and the major players include Carly Patterson, long anointed as the next American gymnastics star. Last year at this time she was hurt but recovered to lead the USA to a gold medal at the World Championships. Courtney Kupets never had that chance. Underneath that nasty 6-inch scar is a once torn, now repaired Achilles tendon. Can a gymnast come back from that kind of injury and compete at the highest level? That question gets answered here. Now Anya Hatch is a 7-time Cuban national champion who can now compete for the United States. But 25 is an age that could make the coaches look the other way. She wants to convince them otherwise and that her injured knee is okay. And then there's Tasha Schwikert, a top performer for the last 4 years, who may be making the transition to the next phase of her life. How much does she want the Olympics before that happens? Welcome everybody to Nashville, Tennessee. Al Troutwig along with Olympic gold medalist Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, the greatest gymnast Canada's ever produced, and on the floor, Andrea Joyce. We'll start things off with Courtney McCool. We got our first glimpse of her at the Visa American Cup at Madison Square Garden when she raised a lot of eyebrows by taking second in the all-around.
And a couple of those eyebrows belong to Marta Caroli, the team coordinator for the USA women's gymnastics team, one of a selection committee of 3, but really a very powerful person in who decides gets on that plane and travels to Athens this summer. She said of Courtney's first 2 major international meets, she actually overperformed. She was better than she thought she would be. That is a huge compliment coming from Marta.
And what makes Courtney so special is that she is, in the eyes of the international judges, someone who could possibly win an all-around gold medal on top of helping a team like the United States win a team gold medal.
We spoke with Marta earlier and she kind of chuckled. She said at the test event in Athens, she said even the Russians, they came up to us and they were like, darn you got another one.
And that was well before she even won the competition. They recognized the talent in this young lady. She has such a preciseness, a lightness on the balance beam. Beautiful dance. As you can see, her form is just impeccable. This, of course, all bodes well for her because it's appreciated by international judges. It will score very well.
I thought I saw her almost lose her footing there on the dismount.
You know, actually, right at the end there, on her round-off, she almost misses her foot. Here's that dismount. She'll turn her body around on a round-off, and let's look at those feet there. She just barely gets those down, and then a triple full, a little bit short on the landing. It'll cost her just a bit, but a great start as one of her coaches, Arminet.
9-6, Courtney McCool. Now, what's going to happen between the competitions today and tomorrow? We're going to have a national champion. Very well could be Carly Patterson. But that really doesn't mean anything as far as the Olympics are concerned. Then later on this month on NBC, we'll take you to Anaheim, California for the Olympic trials. And even then, nothing will be guaranteed as far as the Olympics. Only after that, at the Caroli Ranch in Houston, will the 6-member team and 3 alternates be chosen.
Carly starting out on vault. A lot of power.
Same vault that Carly performed at the World Championships last year. Of course, this vault is easy for Carly. It's only out of a 9.7.
What about the big hop?
Well, that's going to cost her. She had a lot of power. You know, first event, her coach Yevgeny Marchenko there. You got a little bit of extra juice in you, and sometimes you go just a bit too hard. She explodes off the horse here. Kind of rounds her body just a little bit too much and has to take that hop forward on the landing. Going to get a good score, but not going to bring in one of those huge numbers.
Just days before the American Cup at the Garden in New York, her coach had lost his mother back in Russia. He just got to New York in time, and she dedicated that total sweep in New York City to him and her memory. Now to Anya Hatch. She fell in love with her husband, Alan. They now run a gym up in Connecticut after they met in Puerto Rico, and now at the age of 25, she's trying to come back from a major knee injury and get to the Olympics representing the United States.
And I'll tell you, one of the disasters of this past summer, this poor young woman was in the best shape of her entire life, and right before the event, blew out her knee, her ACL, and truly, she would not just have been a part of that team, but was at that time certainly the best vaulter in the world.
You know, Al, what's remarkable to me is it was just 2 weeks ago that Anya competed in her full all-around competition at a friendly international meet at the Karolyi Ranch, and here she is, her second outing. It's just incredible the amount of skill level that she has back.
Just about every gymnast comes back from an injury at some point in their career, but few with as major a one as Courtney Kupets. We'll get a look at her next. Moments ago in Nashville, Anya Hotch got a 9.275. Now to Liz Tricas, just a couple of years ago, she was the national vault champion. Here she's at it again 2 years later.
And Al, this event for Liz is all about power. She is one of the toughest vaulters in this competition, double twisting Yurchenko.
As Elfie said, huge power. Going to get a very nice score, just that big step back on the landing, but giant vault.
One thing about Liz is she is always very happy, very positive, and she always finds time to cheer for everyone else in the arena.
Look at the height. That fantastic. She also had a knee injury that set her back quite a bit, but has bounced back incredibly well.
Speaking of bouncing back, a ruptured Achilles tendon. Think about that, and think about all the pounding that tendon must take to be a successful gymnast. That's on the ankle of Courtney Kupets. How amazed are you that she's here?
Well, you know,
and looks like she's going to make the team.
Well, that's the differentiation right there. Not just that she looks like she's going to make the team, but looks like she could dominate and not just do well on the national stage, but do incredibly well internationally. It is. We're using this adjective all the time, but it's remarkable.
Yeah, it looks like she never had an injury. She has been practicing and keeping up with everyone else in the gym, putting in loads of numbers.
She is a world champion on this event. Changed the order of some of the skills, but it is world class. Phenomenal start for Courtney Kupets.
Courtney Kupets, of course, last year, national champion.
And then came the injury.
Just the way I was up in my chest. Yeah, you gotta keep it down and in on the tongue. Okay. You started in with it and then you brought it up. You're a little anxious. That's okay. Very
Always
nice.
analyzing, always correcting.
It's Kelly Hill. And now we turn to Tasha Schwikert. Now 19 years of age at UCLA. Her mother, this week in the New York Times called her the Dennis Rodman of gymnastics. Not that she's loaded with tattoos, but that she's a little bit of a rebel. And what we're going to find out here is whether she is still a rebel with a cause. The cause being the Olympics.
Well, I got to tell you, if she performs as she has all week long, it is not going to be a good competition for Tasha. She has struggled from day one. Her coach, Cassie Rice, is really not happy. They weren't even sure if she would be doing anything here today.
In fact, Tasha's last competition was last year at the World Championships in August.
Now, the turbulence between Tasha and her coach has actually led to her being thrown out of the gym twice. Now, she's a teenager, and we all know what teenagers are like. Trying to find their own way.
Her coach Cassie said one of the toughest things has been the fact that she hasn't had any numbers of competitions. In fact, coming into this event, she really hasn't trained any routines at all. It's been very frustrating. She's had a string of injuries, a couple of good weeks here and there, and then another injury. Tell you what, that was very good for Tasha, considering what she didn't do in practice this week.
So an improvement there. There is no doubt that her experience, both Olympic and World Championship, could help the team.
Yes, there's no question about that. And one of the things that Tasha brings to the table is she is a competitor. She's one of those athletes that when the light goes on and they say it's time to go, the bigger the meet, the better she gets.
You know, the other thing that Tasha commented on was the fact that, you know, she hasn't had a lot of training time, but she can get a lot done. 3 months of work done in just a short period of time, like 3 weeks. There you see her score, 9.3.
And from Tasha Schwikert back to Courtney Kupets for a 9.6, which in any gymnastics competition these days is a very solid number. Now on the vault is Tabitha Yim. When the United States got nothing out of the Sydney Olympics in 2000, there was a total rebuilding effort that involved a lot around the Carolis, and Tabitha Yim was a part of that. The United States bronze medal at the World Championships in 2001 was a major victory.
You know, Tabitha has looked so strong all week long in practice. She has not competed for 2 years.
She told us she can't even remember all of the problems that she's gone through injury-wise. Very nice vault. Same one that we saw from Carly Patterson just a little bit ago. Nice body position in the air.
And of course, the start value is 9.7.
And she gets almost 5/10 deducted. 9.25 is her score. And after one rotation, Courtney Kupets and Courtney McCool, it's a Courtney kind of thing, are tied at 9.6. Top 12 go to the Olympic trials. We're not used to seeing Carly Patterson in 7th place, but that's where she is. Back to Nashville after this. Start of the second rotation at the 2004 Vise U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Anya Hatch, 11th place after the first.
And of course, Al, before her injury at the World Championships, this was an event that the United States could use her on at an Olympic Games. Vault, floor exercise, she's known as a power athlete. She has an incredibly difficult vault. Yurchenko with the double twist, it's worth a 9.8.
And she sticks it.
Wow. Doesn't get much better than that.
Where'd you get that one from?
10 if it had a 10.
Sorry, Alan, only out of a 9.8.
But Elfie, wouldn't the United States want their specialist to have a start value of 10?
Well, this vault is only out of a 9.8, Al. This is the maximum value that she can receive, but I'll tell you what, she didn't give away anything to the judges, including the landing. That is spectacular.
She said that hard moments in your life make you stronger, and I guess they did right there.
Big smiles in the Hatch camp, 9.625, so there were 1 3/4 points deducted. Now we go to Taryn Humphrey. How does she figure into this whole Olympic mission?
Well, you know what she is so good at is all of the events. She doesn't really have one event where she's the standout, but she's the athlete that on every single event is solid and consistent. Two of the things they're looking for from every athlete.
Of course, Tenn was part of that gold medal winning team last year at the World Championships, and I'll tell you what, she has steadily improved since then. Great exercise.
Started bouncing around in the gym when she was 2. In 1988. Elise Ishino from Santa Ana, California. She's the right age. She's that 16 that you want to be in the Olympic year.
And she just had a major victory at the recent Pacific Alliance Championships. She walked away with the all-around title and defeated her teammate in the process, Carly Patterson.
One of her coaches, Beth Rybecki, said that Elise is such a sweet athlete, and what she and Steve have been working on for this competition is to be a little bit more aggressive. She actually said, we want her to be a little bit more mean. It's okay to want to beat your friends.
Very nice. But was that a stick?
Nice, as you said, Al, but no stick. You move your feet, it's a deduction.
Yeah, that's a big deal at the Olympics, as we've seen many times. Beth and Steve Rybecki, mentioned by Elfie. There's both of them right there. They clearly have the touch in getting their gymnasts pointed toward the Olympic Games. Now Taryn Humphrey gets a 9.5 on floor exercise. What do you think about that?
No complaints for Taryn. That she'll take that score.
Meanwhile, Elise Ishino gets a 9.375. We talk about those hops. That's how tough those Olympic judges are going to be. Now, Alicia Sacramone from Winchester, Massachusetts.
Saw Alicia for the first time at the Pacific Alliance Championship in Hawaii. It was sort of a test event for her, as every competition is from here on in. She had a little bit of a rough time there, so she's here to prove herself once again to Marta. She must hit.
I tell you, she has got some really tremendous qualities, though. Has a certain spark to her gymnastics. Very powerful, very dynamic.
But at times, Tim gets a little bit hyper, a little bit ahead of herself. She has to slow down.
Marta Karolyi went as far to say that if she does what she's capable of doing, she'll be on the Olympic team. And that
hurts.
That is what the concerns have been. She's got the goods, talent-wise, tremendous, incredible skills, very, very powerful, but just doesn't knock the routine out of the park in the big competitions.
Alicia admitted to us that she was very nervous in Hawaii. And as Marta Karolyi said, when you fall, it's not okay. She needs athletes who can stick.
Now, you know, for the second half of that routine, she was a mess inside after falling off. Does she get points for recovering and getting through it, gutting it out?
Well, she gets some from the judges, but not from that lady right there. Marta Karolyi, she has said the most critical thing, these girls need to be consistent. that is not what she did. That is devastating right there. And that is the selection committee in total. On the left of the screen, Marta Caroli, Ro Kreutzer, and the athlete representative, Larissa Fontaine.
And let's go to Andrea Joyce with a gold medal survivor of these grueling trips to the Olympics.
Al, I'm with Dominique Moceanu. Dom, whenever we talk to these young women, they all mention you and the other members of the 1996 Olympic team as the source of their inspiration. They watched you on TV and they said, that's what I want to do. I want to be an Olympian. What is it like for you to have that kind of impact?
It's very inspirational to me that we've made such an impact on gymnastics, and the fact that they're looking up to us and want us to help them hopefully accomplish their goals and dreams in this sport just as we did. U.S. team took a little bit of a vacation in 2000, but they're strong.
The depth is here now. Now, you went through this whole process 8 years ago. I'm sure you have vivid memories of it. I can see you kind of cringing every now and then while you're watching. How much do you think is going on inside their heads right now? Can you take us inside their heads, the emotions?
I believe that everyone is extremely nervous right now. This is a very precious situation. I mean, the girls are really stressed right now, probably the most they've ever been. Everybody's watching. They're being evaluated every move they make. So
Does it bring back memories?
Definitely brings back memories. I wish I was out there, but I definitely don't miss the day in and day out trainings.
And talk about the depth a little bit. Would you want to be on that selection committee?
What I want to be, that's a hard selection committee. And the procedure is going to be tough because we have such a great group of girls, a lot of personality, a lot of character, and a lot of strength.
Okay, thanks so much for joining us. Back to you, Al.
Andrea, Courtney Kupets wants to be one of those chosen women, and she continues to move around this Gaylord Entertainment Center with that scar for all to see, as if to remind us and herself what she's been through. And we'll tell you what that's been after this.
Dreams when I was little, I just wanted to have fun with it. Like, I didn't have really major goals. I just wanted to keep going to the next level.
What a time it was, and what a time it was, a time of innocence, a time of confidences.
Courtney Kupets' modest adolescent ambitions evolved into storybook success. She discovered gold on the uneven bars at the 2002 World Championships and grabbed first place overall at last year's Nationals. She looked for a repeat performance at the 2003 World Championships, but a cruel twist of fate suddenly changed everything.
I was on the takeoff of my pass at practice, and all of a sudden I just felt like the floor bottomed out or something. It was sort of like I didn't have a foot.
Courtney had torn her left Achilles tendon.
Even 20 years ago, after a ruptured Achilles, your career would be finished.
This is what happened, okay? What do we do from here? We can't change anything. We just want to know, now what do we do?
Right when it happened, I right away got the mindset, okay, it's happened, it's done. I can't feel sorry for myself anymore. Because I've heard, if you feel better about yourself and feel that you're gonna make it back, then it'll come faster.
And that's good.
After 3 days after surgery, I was moving my foot back and forth. And before, they put you in a cast for 3 months.
You don't want to do it too fast.
It was about the first 4 months where I was just barely doing anything, maybe some handstand walking on the floor and beam and conditioning.
Once in a while I'll be tired and want to go home, but that's when I think your character really comes out, and that's when you get better.
I wish I could be out there now, but can't get, so. It was hard just to be patient with it, because I was like, okay, I think I've been patient enough. Let's just do my routines now.
After months of rehab and several one-event exhibitions, Courtney was more than ready for a full 4-event competition. In May, she was in Houston for an international invitational at the Caroli Training Center. She was all the way back.
9-5-2-5.
It was important for me just because it was my first time competing all 4 and under a little more pressure than normal.
I didn't want her to go back into USA Championships with the pressure of a reigning champion crown behind her. We needed to get our feet wet.
She needed to convince us that she's back, and she did just exactly that.
First place at the Caroli event means that a dream that was dashed can now live again, to go to Athens in 2004.
I would like to make the 2004 Olympic team, definitely, and have our team win a medal. That'd be awesome.
Well, we always say this, but somewhere there's a surgeon who's got a huge smile on his face because he did his job. 9-6 on the bars. Courtney Kupets now on the balance beam.
And you know, Al, not only has she made an amazing comeback, but she actually can win this national championship. Her routines are that deep, they're that strong. She is unbelievably ready for this event.
And starting off on floor exercise for gym cats will be Schwikert.
Beautiful layout combination.
One thing Courtney does so well on balance beam when she's working her routines is she never questions her moves. She moves so quickly from one element to the next. No hesitation.
The defending champion was tied for first after the first rotation.
You know, Al, she, unlike Anya Hatch, was a member of that gold medal winning team, even though she didn't compete in the finals where the USA came home with the gold. Because she competed in the first day, she was a world team member.
And her coach Kelly actually brought the medal home to Courtney. Just kind of gave it to her at the gym.
Yeah, I said, have you put it on yet? She said, nope, not yet.
See anything there that should change the standings?
Nothing at all.
She was aggressive.
I know you started out a little tricky, but you tightened it up. It was good. No, it was nice job.
You know, she's totally in the zone. She is so committed to doing well here at the Nationals. So aggressive. This, of course, could cause some concern for that ankle, the Achilles, but no problem.
A lot of athletes, they're able to come back, but they always have a, big score there. That is huge, 9.725.
Biggest number we've seen so far. Now, judging from the sound of both of your voices, Tasha Schwikert was better on the beam than you thought she was going to be based on practice.
Much better. I didn't think she'd stay on, to be perfectly honest.
Well, and we really haven't seen any routines from Tasha. We don't know what to expect. It's been so long since she's competed. She's watered down her routine a tad bit. This isn't as difficult as she would like it to be.
Suffering from an Achilles tendon problem as Courtney Kupets.
You know, Al, this is classic Tasha. She surprises us once again. You know, this is only the second full floor exercise routine she's performed since she's been back from injuries. It's amazing, really.
We talked earlier about her sometimes stormy relationship with her coach, Cassie Rice, who's now on the scene. And you got to figure out what you said, Elfie. She's like, see, I told you I could still do it. Now, she's got two parents that are both crap dealers in Las Vegas. They don't get home till 3 a.m. and evidently she really enjoys taking advantage of that. And a lot of boys call in the house and millions of parents are saying, yeah, tell me about it. Now, Tia Orlando, born in Philadelphia, she'll be rooting for Smarty Jones later today in the Belmont Stakes.
From the powerful Parquet team, they've had many a World Championship team member and Olympian. 105 of their athletes have gone on to full athletic scholarships at universities. Big vault here, double twisting Yurchenko. Very nicely done. I tell you, it is remarkable how great the USA is on vaulting right now. All around the world, maybe 1, 2 athletes on individual teams are able to perform a vault this difficult. There are so many of these double twisting Yurchenkos at these national championships. It is remarkable.
Deepest women's team ever, as you've gone on record as saying, Tim. Tia Orlando gets a 9.4. She did step out over the white line, and more smiles for Tasha Schwikert. Thumbs up with a 9.5. When we come back, we'll see what Courtney McCool has in store for us. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, Andrea Joyce at the Gaylord Entertainment Center, Nashville, Tennessee. Second rotation for Courtney McCool. Boy, the more you look at that replay, she just barely got that dismount off on the balance beam.
And Al, you mentioned that Courtney placed second all around at the American Cup, and we asked her how that changed her life, and she said, you know, my grandma has called up all her friends to tell them about me.
So we say hi to Grandma. We know she's watching.
You know, it's hard not to love this gymnast. She has beautiful, beautiful gymnastics.
Good. Very nice. Nice ending. Excellent. Very good. Good job.
That was smart gymnastics.
Very good.
That was smart
See?
gymnastics.
Very good. Little tiny mistakes. Yeah? Little wobbles.
I don't know.
I didn't see them. Where
Neither
were
did
they?
I. That's the amazing thing. She is so clean. You just defies the judge to find something wrong with it.
I hope she caught a glimpse of that smile on Marta Karolyi's face. Now, Carly Patterson, not ahead of her best on the vault. We go across the floor for her.
Yeah, and this typically not a great event for Carly, but she does do well. She has improved steadily on uneven bars. The last time she competed, however, had a slight problem in Hawaii at the Pacific Alliance Championship on a really simple element.
Do a complicated pirouette. Another one here into her release skill. Critical right here.
Really nice job so far. Great exercise.
And that right there, that's a mistake. She was supposed to go completely over the bar. A change of direction, maybe a slight deduction. Really kept it together quite well, though.
You can hear her popularity through those screaming voices, but she does not look too happy. With those few mistakes, still a very solid score for Courtney McCool, 9.575. Carly Patterson, they punch up a 9.45 for her. Looks like Evgeny's trying to calm her down. There are a lot of important days to come. So we are at halftime, the second rotation complete. Courtney Kupets continues to impress with a lead over Courtney McCool. You have to go down to 9th place to find Carly Patterson. We're not used to seeing that, especially in a U.S. championship. Well, guys, you can feel the tension. It's almost like with every mistake, oh, I hope Marta didn't see that. I mean, we have a situation where, sure, if you win the national championship, you've really helped yourself out, but it guarantees you nothing. So they really don't know what they have to do to make the team.
Well, it's a long process, Al, but you know, most of the athletes like the fact that these competitions are buying them just a little bit more time. Tasha Schwikert, Anya Hotch, they've been injured. They haven't seen a lot of competition action, so it gives them just a little bit more opportunity to prove themselves to Marta.
And Tim, it's quite clear they just want to make sure they get the best team possible.
Well, and two of the very top athletes, Chelsea Memel and Holly Vise, the only individual gold medalists from the last World Championships, they're both injured at this point in time. So the flexibility of these selection procedures does a lot to protect some of the top athletes from the USA.
Tim mentioned Holly Vise, who's with Andrea Joyce.
Thanks, Al. Holly, I know you came here expecting to compete despite having back pain for the past week, but you had to withdraw. Fill us in more on the injury, how serious it is, and how you're doing right now.
The injury shouldn't be too serious. The doctors have said that they think it's just like muscular and it should be well in about a week. And I've been working with a really great doctor here, and it's already feeling a lot better.
So you've had treatment for a couple of days. It's better. When should we expect to see you competing again? Will you be back in time for the trials?
Yeah, I think I should be healthy by trials and ready to go.
How difficult is it for you emotionally, though, with the Olympics so close to have to sit this one out?
It's really hard. I've worked really hard for this competition, and I was ready to compete until I got this back injury. But, you know, I'm just going to have to sit out and let it heal so it doesn't get worse.
Okay, we look forward to seeing you in Anaheim.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Thanks.
All right, Andrea, we move to the third rotation. Can Tasha Schwikert continue to impress the way she has been so far on the vault?
Well, look at those scores. She's been really consistent, and those are really good scores for Tasha at this point. This event, however, not her strongest. The value of this vault is only out of a 9.7, and again, she really hasn't practiced a whole lot of them.
Well, once again, Tasha Schwikert is overperforming. If you had asked that lady right there, Cassie Rice, if that was possible 3 days ago, I think she would have said no. Same vault that we saw from Carly Patterson. This is a Yurchenko with 1.5 twists. The difficult part, it is a blind landing. It's actually a great vault. It's just the step on the landing, but once again, Tasha, she is a competitor.
But it's almost like she's trying to come back to the highest level of her sport while having a pretty good time in the off season. Now, Courtney Kupets, she's been huge. 9.6, 9.725, the highest number in the competition. She's on floor.
And she's coming into this competition with a brand new exercise. She's had to rearrange the tumbling just a little bit to accommodate that injury.
And actually doing an even more difficult tumbling run. This double layout right here, wow.
Different.
Really intricate choreography. This routine is very cool.
Well, without a doubt, floor exercise is the event that will put the most pressure and pounding on that Achilles tendon injury, and she just survived that like everything else she's been doing all week long. Perfect.
You feel it?
Back in Nashville, Tennessee, Courtney Kupets dazzling once again. A 9.5 on floor exercise. Should keep her in the lead as we go back to Courtney McCool, who after the second rotation was in second place. Look how consistent she was.
Yeah, and what makes her so great on this event is not the fact that she's doing a high start value vault. It's only out of a 9.7, but she will maximize the score by doing it so neatly. She has amazing form. Of course, the big hop on the landing does hurt. You can't take anything away from Courtney in the air. Check out the form. Her legs are glued together. Beautiful execution right there. Blind landing, forced to take the large hop. There's the deduction.
But that's amazing. I mean, to do a vault like that and do it so perfectly, except for the landing, that's about as good as you can do it, no question.
9.325 as we go to Carly Patterson on the beam. And I've got to figure in ninth place, Carly Patterson is thinking about a comeback here today.
But you know, the next two events, beam and floor exercise, are really Carly's best events. This one right here is certainly, in my opinion, is her very best event. She's world class on the balance beam.
And it starts right here with a very difficult skill called an Arabian. Changes direction. Awesome. We've said this before. What makes Carly's beam routine is this amazing dismount, the only Super E that's being done in the competition. A little bit of a hesitation there in that connection.
Asking Carly to sum up the year for us and all the emotions that are running through her, and she says, I have dreamed my entire life of going to the Olympic Games, and it's finally almost here.
Well, this is the generation that saw the Magnificent Seven in 1996 at an impressionable age, but let's say 7 or 8, and now here they are, living out that dream.
And now here it is. This incredible dismount that she performs takes the entire length of the beam. She will tumble, and then at the end of it, perform a double Arabian.
That ought to bring her back in the standings a bit.
It's going to do a lot. Here is that first big acrobatic element. It's an Arabian. She jumps, does a half turn in the air, then a front flip, and somehow gets those feet back down on the beam. She does it again on this dismount, but adds another flip, and bang, there's the ground, just that one step.
And you know, Carly says she doesn't just want to make the Olympic team, she wants to make a far bigger impression when she gets to Athens.
And a 9.7. If you go beyond 9.7, you've really hit a big score. Here's Taryn Humphrey, 9.3, 9.5, very solid. She's part of things. Remember, you want to finish top 12 to get to the Olympic trials and get 2 more chances to impress Marta Karolyi.
And you know, we've talked about Taryn being a consistent athlete. She's an all-around athlete, meaning she's good on all 4 events. She's improved here since we've last seen Taryn.
A lot, actually. She added a half twist to the vault, does one of those double twisting vaults, very difficult.
Wow.
Really well. You know, in the past, I never really thought she had the power to do a vault like that, but she's been doing them all week long, making a liar out of me.
We don't see that too often from Taryn either. A nice smile, but check out the height she gets off the horse. Has to complete 2 twists in the air. Plants her feet on the landing. The hop, of course, a little deduction.
And that smile has lasted, 9.425 on the vault. And we go back to Elise Ishino on the beam. 9.25, 9.375.
Elise actually has a very nice and difficult mount. A lot of the athletes just jump up onto the beam. She We'll do a round off to a back layout. Very difficult.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and actually Marta Caroli would prefer that most of the athletes just jump up on the beam. She would prefer that they get on there, do their more difficult skills, not take so much of a risk, but Elise takes risk on the mount. She also does it on the dismount. Very tough exercise.
But you know, Elf, you make a very valid point there. Marta Caroli would prefer her to not take that risk, but I think the reason why it is working, because a lot of people didn't think having someone like Marta Caroli in the top spot was going to work because it's a country of individuals. She does make recommendations, but she listens to the coaches. They feel they have a say in their athletes' development, and sometimes she'll say, okay, go ahead.
After performing so well at an international event in Brazil earlier this year, Marta gave her that opportunity in Hawaii to be part of a team competition, and she has just been on the rise.
Probably all she's thinking about right now is that sidestep on the dismount, because everybody knows how big those are.
It's the new Elise. She's still there.
And now we get our first look at Carly Janiga. And I know, Tim, you've been talking her up since I arrived here in Nashville, and I just wonder if she really has had very little international or even American experience. In fact, the only international event that's on her resume was at the Caroli camp recently in Houston.
Well, you're exactly right, Al, but she has got the goods, I'll tell you. And she'll show it from start to finish in this floor exercise routine. Probably, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in the world, maybe a young lady from Brazil, that does as difficult a floor routine, 4 huge tumbling runs. Wow, she does that too easy. Her coach says she is the greatest acrobat he's ever seen.
Check out this tumbling pass. A combination ending with a triple twist. You know, Al, not only have we been talking her up all week, but more importantly, Marta Caroli likes her.
Yeah, that experience thing, that's a big deal. It really affected her. That last pass, how many spins in the air were there?
A lot. 3 to be exact.
Carly Janiga from Paradise Valley, Arizona, where she trains with the Desert Devils. And yes, the big 3 are taking it all in. They are the 3 who will decide after the Olympic trials at the Caroli camp whether a woman like Elise Ishino, after a 9.475, will be part of the group. 6 teammates, 3 alternates to go to the Olympics. Courtney Kupets still flexing her muscles and leading big time over Courtney McCool. But look at the jump Carly Patterson has made all the way up to 3rd. And you think about Tia Orlando and Ashley Postel. Remember, top 12 go. When we come back, can Courtney Kupets continue to dominate the Vise U.S. Gymnastics Championships? One quick vault, and Courtney Kupets will have survived day one of the Vise U.S. Gymnastics Championships in fine order. She's the leader, and by a lot, more than 0.3 of a point. Tomorrow we'll crown the U.S. national champion, and we'll see if Courtney can repeat. She's looked as good as she did last year when she won the championship in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Very different vault we'll see from Courtney. We haven't seen it yet today. She'll do that same round off onto the board, but she does a half turn onto the horse, then a front flip with another half turn. Very difficult. And just like everything else today, it is a walk in the park for Courtney Kupets.
3 very difficult routines, this being her final exercise. This vault, only out of a 9.7. Again, that's the maximum value that she can receive. And as Tim mentioned, a lot going on this particular vault, changing direction a few times. Here's the Yurchenko style onto the board, half turn, front flip with a half twist, beautiful height. Just a small step there.
Really, really, we said it all afternoon long, but it is just amazing how phenomenally quickly she has come back, not just to compete in these championships, but she's a contender to win a gold medal come Athens this summer.
Tasha Schwikert's final event today, uneven bars.
And again, not sure what to expect, but this is Tasha's best event. This is where she can really fly.
Starts right here. Big release skill, way in the air, a little bit close.
But she hangs on. Another release right here, Shaposhnikova, beautiful.
Love her exercise. It's all about flight, all about air, like a little kid playing on a jungle gym. It's great.
You know, when Tasha is on, she can swing bars with the best in the world.
Well, she has had a great competition.
Oh, scare people. I like to freak people out. Freak myself out.
You know, Al, we've been saying it all week long. It just didn't look like the same Tasha, but...
You know what she's letting you in on? She's letting you in on the fact that even she wasn't quite sure how this was all going to go.
Yeah. I was like...
Dismount right here. And right there, day one, that's what you call an exclamation mark.
That's the way to finish for her. 9.65 for Tasha Schwikert.
Cassie's like falling all over the place. Tasha's cool, you know, she's on the board.
Back to Tabitha Yim to see how her day is going to conclude. 9.25, 9.35, 9.425.
And you know what, Al? I think this is the exercise where Tabitha really shines. She's got a brand new floor routine, taking a huge risk, some very different music, but it works. It works so well for Tabitha. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, I think the Americans today have the most creative routines and the best music selection by far.
She checks in with the Rybakis. And while we await her score, as you probably know, there is plenty of pre-Olympic coverage to be found on USA. And next Saturday, it's the U.S. Olympic Diving Trials. Saturday at 10 Eastern, it's synchronized diving. Then at 2 Eastern, it's 2 days of individual competition. See gold medalist Laura Wilkinson as she begins her journey toward a second Olympics. Tabitha Yim records a 9.4, and she will carry her total into tomorrow's second and final day of the Vise U.S. Gymnastics Championships right here on NBC. We go over to Courtney McCool on the uneven bars.
You know, we've talked about how tight and how clean she is. I think this is the exercise where you can see exactly how precise Courtney McCool is. The legs are glued together. They're not just straight. They are like rock solid, locked out. Toes are pointed all the time. It's a pleasure to watch. Really, really fantastic. First release skill. Named after a great Russian gymnast, a Horkina.
There you can see the beauty in her work. Of course, this routine, it's all about handstands. Judges are looking for those tight positions right on top of the bar. Good exercise, she just has the dismount.
And it's a tough one. Full twisting double layout.
Whoa!
Wow.
And luckily, she's okay.
Very luckily. Now, Al, I don't really think that she's hurt. I think, first off, to use Tasha's word, she's freaked out.
She knows, I'm sure, how dangerous that could have been.
You know, what happened is she either lost total concentration, or it can happen. You have to generate a lot of speed, a lot of power on these dismounts, and she could have just ripped off the bar. When that happens, you have no control whatsoever. Wherever your body is, whatever angle it is, it will determine the amount of flip that you have. She comes through the bottom, lots of speed here, and
right
you see
hand
that
comes off.
That right hand comes off.
Yikes.
Now, Courtney McCool is so important to what Marta sees. Here's her reaction watching. Like everybody else. Now, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that this happened on the last rotation?
I think it's a good thing. She's going to be thinking about that tomorrow, and I guarantee you the first time that she has to repeat that element, there'll be a coach standing underneath there, and she'll be squeezing the bars a little bit tighter.
Carly Patterson when we come back. Fourth and final rotation. Carly Patterson's day didn't start that well. Much better after. She goes from 7th to 9th, now 3rd. And we will crown the U.S. national champion tomorrow with 4 more rotations. 9-7 on the beam. That was special.
And of course, another excellent exercise for Carly. She can move herself up just a little bit more. This is very strong.
I would say that basically she's just got to stay on her feet, and with the problems that McCool just suffered on the uneven bar, she's going to move ahead of her.
selection members see Carly Patterson come all the way back. They had to calm her down halfway through. Evgeny was right there.
Stick it all, okay? Awesome. Good job, Ed. It's a good step. Next step forward. Okay, we start from basic.
Carly says she knows nobody's a lock.
Yeah.
She doesn't consider herself one. If there is one on this team, you're looking at it right there.
Now, as we move to Tenn, Humphrey, we'll get back to Carly Patterson's score. And by the way, Courtney McCool off that horrible dismount. She's okay. That's the big deal. Her score, for the record, 8.72.
And so far today, Tenn has had an amazing competition, really has been consistent. I expect the same in this exercise. You know, her coach, Armanet, has said it's amazing how far she has come in 9 years. She has not been the most talented athlete she has ever coached, but she has really been the most hardworking in their gym.
Hardworking, but they said she requires a lot. She is a high-maintenance kid, wants you to watch every single turn that she takes. I figure she probably thinks if she's working hard, then, hey, I want help. She didn't need any today, though. One of her coaches there, Al Fong.
Set up so big time for next.
Back to Carly Patterson. She hits another big one, 9.7.
Oh, man. Yeah. Everything was going to take very nice. Good job. All right. Good.
Tenn Humphrey, a 9.45. All right, good job. Let's go to Andrea Joyce.
All right, Al. Carly, your thoughts on how you did today?
I started off on my second event a little bit rough, but I just tried to keep going and think, anything can happen. Still have 2 more days left, another full day of competition, so I was just thinking anything can happen, so just keep going and try to do your best and finish good.
It seemed like there was a lot of nervous energy out there today. Was there any of that for you?
Maybe a little bit. I felt pretty good coming in here, so, but yeah, I always get a little bit nervous. But.
And how do you get yourself ready now for the finals?
Just try to hit everything tomorrow as best as possible, no wobbles, everything consistent, and then come in on Saturday even better.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Al?
Okay, Andrea. And we will move across the floor to the balance beam. And Anya Hatch. Big day for her was on the vault with a 9.625.
Mentioned just a couple of weeks ago she had her first competition in the all-around, competing all 4 events is what I mean. Her coach, Alan Hatch, and husband said that what she needs now more than anything is just numbers. Physically, she's very fit, just mentally, competition in which she'll get 2 here. Excellent skill. Has actually changed that around a little bit in her routine. As I mentioned, 2 competitions at the national championships, 2 at Olympic trials, and then if she is lucky enough to go on to the final camp, 2 full days of competition in July.
Well, one of the things that Marta Caroli and the selection committee have tried to hammer home to these athletes and coaches is that it's not just the competitions, it's every single day, every single turn. We're watching you because it all matters.
And again, Tim, the philosophy here is that USA Gymnastics does not want some inflated score and maybe only one event and maybe only one performance that would dramatically change the standing in, say, an Olympic trials or at a US Gymnastics Championships, which would knock an athlete that they know deep in their heart off the team that they really want on it. And the ultimate reason is they want to have the best team go.
That's the goal. Marta Caroli says we will not sacrifice anything for the team. First the team, then the all-around, then the individual events.
And a gymnast like Anya Hatch, at least, you know, from what you hear and what you guys say, is one of those real big-time bubble performers. She's 25.
And doing big-time skills, like that full twisting back summy into a combination, I mean, she can still handle a high level of difficulty. However, today on balance beam, not her best routine.
A 9.2. And we'll see where she factors in. And the big three, the decision makers, the ones who will make the choice, who gets to go to Athens, watching every move. And they had to love the moves of Courtney Kupets, dominant here today on day one. One more floor exercise from Ishino after this. Back in Nashville, the day is done for Carly Patterson. Pressure's off, slow start, great finish. And Courtney Kupets, great from start to finish, and she'll be the leader heading into tomorrow's second day. Coming up next, the drive to Arena Bowl 18 as the AFL playoffs kick off on NBC. It's Tampa Bay, an amazing story that they made it against the San Jose SaberCats. Bill Weber in the studio. He has assumed my identity for the day, and he is the perfect dude for the job. Let's get back one more look at Ishino. This will complete her day on floor exercise.
And of course, you can see those scores, very consistent. Again, I think making a very big impression with Marta Karolyi.
Not just today, all week long. And actually the last international meet we watched her at, the Pacific Alliance. This kid just doesn't make mistakes.
Beth Rybecki, of course, Elise's coach, has had a big part in the choreography of this routine, and these athletes really know how to dance. Very expressive. I think this was her best routine of the day.
Asked her what she needed most to be on that team, that Olympic team. She said, I just need a little bit more confidence. Well, mission accomplished.
And Tim, last year, if you consider where she stood at the national championships, she's made a very nice progression.
Oh, huge. She was 13th last year. That's not even in the game.
9.5 for Ishino, and everybody's shown what good teammates they can be as well. That's all part of what USA Gymnastics wants to be in Athens, Greece. So Courtney Kupets still has the lead, but not by much, over Carly Patterson, who's had a wild ride today. Tasha Schwikert, too. And now remember, the top 12 go to the Olympic trials, so look at the names: Janiga, Orlando, Heenan right on the bubble. Now, national champions as well are Hatch, Schwikert, Kupets, and Patterson on the individual events. Let's go to Andrea Joyce.
Al, the other day, Courtney told us her only goal here was to compete and just show everyone that she was back. Well, did you exceed expectations here?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I did the 4 events which I wanted to do, and with all the skills, so I'm just proud of that.
If anyone had told you when you had that major injury in Anaheim that you would be back here at the national championships, the leader after the first day of competition, what would you have told them?
I don't know about the leader, but I definitely believed I would be back here this year.
You never had any doubts through all of the rehab?
No, you know, you just got to trust in God, and He'll help you through, so.
How important was it for you psychologically after that injury to come back in such a big competition like this and do well?
It's a little nerve-wracking, you know, but I did have a meet last weekend at camp that kind of boosted my energy, you know, did a 1 full meet, so.
You looked all week like you were raring to go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When we come back here on NBC, we'll tell you what happened when the men gathered here in Nashville to determine their national champion, plus an update on Blaine Wilson, next. For almost a decade, at any U.S. men's gymnastics competition, it wouldn't be unusual to have eyes focused on the brash and flamboyant 5-time national champion Blaine Wilson. But here in Nashville, Tennessee, just prior to the U.S. Championship, there was particular interest once again, because quite simply, he was back training on the rings. It was just last February at Madison Square Garden when Blaine was putting on his usual spectacular performance, when suddenly something went terribly wrong. The Garden went silent, and then he spoke.
Bicep is gone.
You could see it just give out. You know, instantly you go to damage assessment. Is there enough time between now and August?
I would say if he tore his bicep, that Blaine Wilson's Olympic dream of medaling with the team is over.
You know, there's nothing I could do about it. It just ripped and that's it. You got to get it fixed and I'll be back. I'll be in Greece.
He came back to the sport in Nashville after less than 4 months. The original plan was to compete in 2 events. Then it was decided to hold off and be even more ready for the Olympic trials. Now, Blaine has said he hates to watch, but during the 2-day competition, he was in the stands watching and a good teammate to boot. What has happened to Blaine here this week?
Well, he's doing what he needs to do, which is hard. Be patient. But I got to tell you that I never doubted the resolve of Blaine Wilson. I just didn't think that it was medically possible for him to get back in the allowed amount of time.
As for the men's competition, it looks as though Ravshbab Shah is going to be part of what the Americans send to Athens.
Well, he brings a lot of things to the table that this USA team needs. He was, of course, a member of that silver medal winning team in Anaheim at the 2003 World Championships. He's upgraded on high bar, a release skill that previously was not in his routine last time around. He's really an acrobat, though, very quick. Moves on to one arm here. Super strong athlete. But look at this, triple back somersault. Just the smallest steps. He's a contender, right in the game. Here's that triple back somersault. 3 flips, a lot of pressure. Got to put this down on your feet, spot the ground. Just that small little step.
To Brett McClure.
And if there was a guy that could challenge Paul Hamm at these championships without Blaine Wilson and Jason Gatson, another injured athlete, it would have been this man right here, Brett McClure. And he would do it with beautiful body lines like this. He's one of the most artistic athletes in the entire country. Excels on the event of pommel horse. Always has great rhythm, beautiful extension.
Tim, I admire what he's done. You know, at times when Jason Gatson was getting all the attention and Blaine Wilson was getting all the attention and then the Hamms came along, he just quietly was on the fringe doing his job, and now this may just be his time.
You got it right there. And the thing that he has done and grown so much as a gymnast, he was one of those guys that really wasn't that great of a competitor. But I tell you, in the last couple of years, he has come so far in that area. This a very difficult skill. A traveling Russian from one end of the horse to the other. Super difficult.
Which brings us to the star of the USA gymnastics effort for the past 3 years. The 2-time national champion, Paul Hamm, right on top of his game.
And hugely powerful. Gigantic. 2.5 twisting Yurchenko. Guy's awesome.
To his spectacular effort on the high bar.
And this is the event that he clinched his all-around gold medal at the World Championships on high bar. And he has so many tricks on the horizontal bar event. He actually came home from the World Championships and made a calculated decision that he didn't need to do all of his hard stuff, though, because it was too hard. This doesn't look too hard, does it, Al?
From the very beginning to the very end, he did it full out, Tim, and it looks as though if the Olympics started tomorrow, he would be right there and be ready.
Bang!
Paul Hamm cruised through this Vise U.S. Gymnastics Championship, leaving no doubt as to who was the best. And then a moment to crown yet another national championship on floor exercise where he also excels.
Well, if you're a Hamm, you can tumble. He, along with his brother, probably the best jumpers this country's ever had. The thing that's remarkable is he makes this stuff look so easy. This is 2 flips and 2 twists, and somehow he finds the ground. A lot going on here, kind of makes you dizzy, especially when you got to roll out of it like that. Not only was he world champion in the all-around, but also tied for the gold on floor at the last World Championships. Could easily do it again in just a couple of months in Athens. Really, though, started the year off a little bit shaky, didn't have a very good competition at all at the Vise American Cup. Just didn't look as sharp as he had. But as this competition has gone along, certainly the second day looked better than the first. And after every event, it just got better and better until this right here.
Paul Hamm, the 2002, the 2003, the 2004 American National Champion.
Come on, Morgan.
And for athletes like these, it's all about peaking at the right time. Paul Hamm grabbed all the honors here in Nashville as you look at some of the top finishers that will all move on to the Olympic trials.
Paul, congratulations, your 3rd national title with the Olympics so close. How does this one compare to the other 2?
This one's just much more important to me right now because it's obviously right before the Olympic Games, and it just shows me that I'm very prepared going in, and that makes me very confident knowing that I'm at the top of the U.S. going into the Olympic Games.
Well, you say you're prepared, but in terms of your readiness, are you exactly where you want to be? Is there something else that you're working on? Are you peaking right now?
I'm definitely not peaked right now. I think I still have a little bit more work to put in and to clean up a couple of things in my routine. So my goal is to peak at the Olympic Games, so hopefully I can do that.
Meaning Paul Hamm wants one more thing, a medal with 5 rings on it. Tomorrow, the women's competition comes to a close, as all the would-be challengers look to overtake the leader and last year's champion, Courtney Kupets. They'll do it under the watchful eye of Marta Karolyi, as this event serves to be the final proving ground prior to the United States Olympic trials in Anaheim, California later this month. The results here still from the U.S. Nationals will go a long way in determining who makes the final journey to Athens, Greece.